Welcome, everybody, to the PHDJ Podcast. My name is Mike, and...
Yes, sir. Joe Bunn here.
How are you there, Joe?
I'm good, man. I'm good.
Yeah?
Big week.
Let me lead this podcast with some more good news.
Okay.
We got another sign up.
Hey,
Justin Babbitt, welcome to the workshop.
I know that name. Isn't it funny how you start knowing people's names just from
Facebook and from Justin's from I believe Portland, which is funny. Portland has come up a couple of times for me. I'm just finishing up Phil Knight's memoir.
No, I need to read that.
Somebody recommend. It's called Shoe Dog. I highly recommend it. I've only got a couple pages left, and highly recommend it. So it's weird that Portland has come up a couple times. But welcome to the workshop there, Justin. Thank you for signing up.
I didn't even know that. Did I? Is that
we'll
new?
see you in March. Of course it's new. You know why you didn't know it, Joe?
You're supposed to save it for the air.
Because I saved it for the air. Have I not taught you anything?
Jeez,
Joe Bunn. Joe texted me yesterday with a great story. And what's the first thing I texted back?
Save it for the radio.
I said save it for the air, Joe. Come on, man. So share with the listeners now this fun story that you
literally blown away, guys. Because I'm sitting here yesterday. So we have a huge 3-day corporate event this week. Both photo booths. Randy's DJing last night and tonight, and I'm DJing tomorrow night. Tons of gear. You know, it's not really what we do. I mean, it's, we usually do kind of a one-off thing. This is a big production, big deal for us. And so I'd been there all day setting up, and I ran in here just to check a few emails, and I had just sat down, and a guy walked in, and he's like, "Hey." I looked at him, and you know how sometimes you almost feel like you know somebody from like a Facebook profile picture or just in your life.
Right. And
he goes, and I'm like, yeah, I know this dude somehow. And he goes, I'm John Sawyers, and I don't mean to bother you. I'm in town on business, and I want to come by and give you this. And it was a thank you card about how much the podcast has helped his business.
Isn't that great?
He with a hundo in it, and I
was going to say it wasn't just a thank you card. It was
had a hundo in it.
Little tip in there.
Was like I literally was kind of speechless, man. I kind of like slobbered a little bit. It was a weird I was like, bro, I don't even know what to say. And so he was he works for like corporate Bed Bath and Beyond. They're doing a huge remodel in a city near here, and he Googled the address and said, I'm gonna give it a shot and see if I'm there. And he came by and. I had another appointment right after him, but we had like a 10-minute chat. He's right up by our buddies Clock and Nepa. He's kind of squeezed in between those two.
Right.
He said he had, he's only been in it 4 or 5 years. Like he got in it late in life. He went to a karaoke bar one night, and then that led to wanting to get a karaoke machine at the house, and then buying gear and doing it.
Isn't that cool?
Amazing
I love it.
Story, man.
I love it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So, John, I know you're listening. Thank you, man. You really you made my.
And John, you're gonna have to clarify. Did you mean for Joe to split that 100 with me, or do I have a hundy coming myself?
I knew that was coming.
Just clarify that for us.
I know he's gonna find you in Jersey.
I'm only kidding. And also, I want to thank Jordan Nelson, who put up a post this week. He said, in the last hour of my set last night, I remembered Michael Walker ripping Joe Bunn on the PHDJ podcast for not recording his sets and thought I should give it a try. So I grabbed my Tascam and managed to snag the last 45 minutes. Thank you, Jordan. I listened to this. I actually listened to it on one of my runs. I love this. Any other listeners, because Joe refuses to do it. So if any of the listeners out there want to do this, please tag me in the post when you put it up on Mixcloud or SoundCloud or wherever. I think I enjoy listening to live sets more than, you're pre-recorded in the basement and you're in your studio, because I mean, those are cool too, but we all know, if you make a flub there, you're not going to share it. You're going to scrap it, everything else. But live is live. So I really do enjoy hearing that. And
you like
I
the emceeing over top of it too, Mike?
I do. I'd rather hear the microphone as well. I know some people don't want to share that part, which is fine. That's a personal decision. But I mean, if your system has a choice between recording with or without the microphone, I would say record with the microphone so that we can hear your shout outs as well. And not just your. I don't think this is just for us, just for for industry people.
Right.
I think this is good promotional stuff. I think you can share these things. I have a very active SoundCloud page, and I've had plenty of clients book me and say they really enjoyed listening to my mixes. So, awesome. I think it definitely can help you.
Okay, here's my Thursday night. My gig tomorrow night is a lot of Spanish music, which I'm a terrible Spanish DJ at, so that should be interesting. But I do have a wedding on Sunday, so if it is jumping off at all for a Sunday night wedding,
there's got to be a qualifier there.
It's got to be good. If I'm not feeling it,
Joe's not going to share it. He's not.
If I'm not feeling it, I'm not hitting record. But I will vow to hit record this Sunday
so
night.
Let's get to the topic of the week, Joe. And this came about from a Facebook post that I made on Friday night. I had a wedding Friday night down in Philadelphia. And in the beginning of the night, and this is usually how it comes up, the videographer asked for a plug-in to my board. And I said, of course. Yep. And so I always follow that up by asking, are you here till the end of the night? And if he says yes, then it's no problem. But if they say no, he's not, if they say no, then I just say, please don't take the wire out. Let me do that. Because I've had videographers basically reaching into my system. And I'm like, let me do that. Yeah. So he said, no, he's only there till was going till 11:30. So naturally, now this is just my own instinct, is I'm going to tweak my programming in that situation. I didn't tell him. I didn't tell the bride. I didn't make a big deal about it. But there are a number of songs that I think look really good on video that probably usually are my last hour songs that I moved up into the 9 o'clock hour. So I just put a post on Facebook. DJs, does your programming change if you know the videographer is leaving within an hour left in the party? The overwhelming response, Joe, was similar to yours, because you didn't respond to the Facebook post, but I texted you that question the next day.
Don't say what I said.
Joe answered with 2 words, one of which we've agreed not to use on air. The other one, simply no. So if you can imagine it, Joe answered back blank, no. You can fill in the blank, I'm sure. So I want you to tell me why you are not only say no to that, but so adamantly say no, because that was, I had a number of people who responded to the post, not just, no, and then reason why, but I mean, Big Daddy, nope. I know Nick Spinelli wrote, hell no. Jason Janai, never. And like I said, there are a number of people who I really respect. Ron Michaels, heck no.
Do you respect me?
I do respect you. I respect everyone else. Well, not everybody, but those people that I mentioned already, I respect. Tell me why F no.
So you're saying this guy is leaving 90 minutes before the end of the reception, correct?
Correct.
Okay. I mean, I think first and foremost, and let me preface this by saying, I think that maybe are you, before I get into this, are you saying you're the opposite end of the spectrum? You did tailor it, right? You did change it.
I did.
Is it because you own a video company, though?
Joe, I want to know your answer. I'm going to get into my answer.
My answer is no, I'm not changing it because
not just no, F no.
No. Yeah. I'm not changing it.
You're damn adamant about it. Right. Why are you not changing it?
Because first and foremost, I don't care what it takes to stay another hour or 90 minutes. Either A, he should have had the wherewithal to tell the bride, I should be there until the end. If nothing else, to get the sparkler departure and that last hour and a half, which, as you and I know, is the peak banger dance floor time.
Okay.
So I kind of blame it on the videographer, or I kind of blame it on the bride for cheaping out. I probably also am angry that most videographers don't send us anything. They don't even bother to mention us in the teaser or shoot the DJ at all. Oh, I'm in the background, out of focus on this one, first dance shot. There's a lot of reasons, you know what I mean? But I think at the end of the day, I know that sets or that music goes through waves. In other words, once I start dancing, which down here is usually 2.5 to 3 hours. 3 is actually long for the dancing portion. So out of those 2.5 hours, I can come out strong. But again, I'm not coming out with, a current club hit. I'm coming out with Signed, Sealed, Delivered or whatever. And then I kind of go through those 5 or 6, and we've talked about this, a slow song. Then I'd come out with maybe a line dance or whatever. And I know that last hour, especially if they're in the demographic, and I've looked at their playlist, is when they have tailored their list to be for their friends. So let's say the bride is 25 to 35, and she wants whatever, early 2000s hip-hop to current top 40. It's coming out from, let's say, 10 p.m. to 11 p.m. 30 minutes ago, that guy left. So I'm not going to sit there and change my entire programming for this guy to get a few songs. Number one, I know that I'm strong enough as a DJ to come out swinging where he can get good crowded dance floor shots. Two, they're not going to use that music bed anyway because they can't. So they're not going to actually play the song that, you know, you've seen people dancing to Shout in 1,000 wedding videos, but Shout's usually not playing. I don't know, man. I'm not changing it.
Okay.
Now let me preface it. Let me back that up a second, because
back that up.
I'm gonna back that up and say this: 1,000%, I'm willing to relent if the client, the bride, the groom, mother's father, somebody comes up and says, "Listen, Kevin, the videographer, is leaving at 10. We only paid him, whatever, budget was tight, or what, we don't want the end of the party on tape, or whatever it is. He's leaving at 10. Can you make sure we get people hardcore dancing before he leaves," or something like that? Then I would do some changes. But if he just said simply, "I'm leaving at 10. I know the party goes to 11:30," no.
Okay. And let's face it, that last scenario is probably not going to happen because clients aren't going to think of that.
Right.
That's not really on their mind.
I'm just saying, though.
So the next day after I put this post up, and I was really surprised by the overwhelming no's that came out. And again, many people who I respect, so I know I'm kind of pitting myself here against people like yourself and Big Daddy, who's a dear friend of mine, and Jasmine from Chicago, and Jason Jan. I just think that on this one issue, we're going to have to agree to disagree. So this is what I wrote. And first of all, I'm really kind of proud of myself. I didn't know about this on social media. After you replied F no, and I thought, okay, here's the topic for this week's, I didn't want you to read my response. Did you know you can block people from reading specific threads on your face? So I didn't know that either, but I looked into it. So you couldn't see this because I didn't want you to read my response to be prepared for what I was about to say. So I'm going to read this. I could probably explain it, but I think I did a really good job of writing it. So I had a wedding last night where the videographers were leaving with an hour left in the night, actually 90 minutes, but I just wrote an hour. I usually tweak my programming, and tweak is an important word there, Joe. I didn't say overhaul programming, but just tweak it.
Okay.
In this situation to get what I consider to be some, quote, last hour, unquote, type footage. And so I posed a question on Facebook asking DJs if they do the same. The overwhelming response was no, with some even asking some snide making some snide remarks about why they are leaving early. To that last point, and you make that, who's being cheap here? Why can't they stick around? It's a long day for photo and video. They started yesterday at noon and left at 10 p.m. So basically their package probably has 10 hours of coverage, and the couple chose to have them start that early because prep pictures and video was important to them. I don't think we as DJs should knock other professionals for sticking to their contract. And this is where I probably shouldn't have put this because this became a side issue in the debate, especially when there are so many of us who won't even play one more song because it's after our contracted time, which is another question I posed here and been surprised at the reaction. It's one song. What's so important in your life? Anyway, to the tweaking point, I do it for two reasons. Well, three, really. One, I want my couples to have the best possible video. So if moving Shout or Don't Stop Believing or Jump Around into the 9 o'clock hour last night helped that, I have no problem with it. Now, here's part 1A. To that. And by the way, I've always believed that the couple's videos are also promotional pieces for myself. Every time they show it and people see a raging party, they're going to ask who was your DJ. So a better video for them also helps me. And I also do it for the videographer. And this goes to your original question. Maybe it's because Elite has a sister company that shoots video, or maybe it's just because I respect so many people in the wedding industry who sacrifice their weekends like I do. But I've always had a we're all in this together philosophy. Tweaking my programming isn't that hard, so I can do it so if I can do it and get the videographer some better footage to work with, well, it's sort of the least I can do, in my opinion. This isn't a slam at all. Some DJs who I highly respect said no in that post last night. So on this, we'll just have to agree to disagree. But I ask you to reconsider. Instead of explaining to a couple the downside of their videographer leaving early, why not internally think to yourself, what can I do to make things better? That last point was kind of directed at a few people on that post who not only said no, but said that they would take that opportunity to tell the bride why she made a wrong choice.
Oh my God, no.
Now I don't know when they would do that in the timeline. The only time I would find out if the videographer is leaving it, maybe in that month before meeting. Now, I probably should work that question in so that I definitively, but even if so, at that point, 30 days out, or in your case, a week before, I'm never, ever going to tell the bride that she's made a bad choice at that point, because brides have enough anxiety in their mind without hearing from one wedding professional about another wedding professional. So I maybe if you're doing that in the sales process, okay, I guess that's an educational moment. But if you're doing it in that run up to the party, I'd urge you to reconsider that. That is not the time to be telling a bride that she's made a bad choice about anything. Just too close to the date, in my opinion. Okay. So as far as the videographers staying or leaving early, that is their contracted time. Yeah. So, for example, this videographer had a 10-hour package, okay, or 10, as you would say. 10-hour package. So it was up to them. They explained that to the bride and groom. They said, what time do you want me to start? The bride and groom said noon. So now they're going noon to 10. So anyone who thinks they should just stay for that last 90 minutes, why would any DJ who thinks I'm going to ask you the same question. Your wedding on, what'd you say, Sunday night you have a wedding? Yeah. If they come to you and say, Joe, this party's banging, we want you to stay an hour, what are you going to say? Sure, no problem, I'll do it for free?
No.
You have an overtime rate, right?
Correct. Yes, sir. Okay.
So who are we to criticize other wedding professionals for staying to their contracted time and not a minute over?
Okay, but I agree. I agree with that 1,000%, 100% agreement on that. However, is it not their job, just like it's our job to say, 12 to 10, Susie, I see, but what time are you actually ending I'm the videographer. I'm playing this role. So I have a 10-hour package. You want me to start at noon when the girls are starting to get ready at the bridal suite, and so that puts me ending at 10. But didn't you say your wedding goes to 11:30? Like, isn't that an educational moment for them in the sales process? Like,
sure.
Because again, you own a video company. So if that scenario happens, and I know you're probably not the video sales guy, what do y'all do at Elite? So kind of give us a behind the scenes, because I don't, you know what I mean?
So if you want us to start at noon because the prep pictures and the amount of time you need us, just understand we're going to miss that last hour of the party. And if the bride goes, great, and we say, you could keep us for an extra $200 for that time, that's kind of outside of our budget. Fine, let's go ahead and do that. Okay. Now, again, the videographer never said to me, hey, could you move a couple songs up? He didn't ask me.
Perfect. But would your videographer ask a random DJ, could you move a few songs up?
I don't think so. And our video, I think all of our package stayed to the end anyway. But again, I'm not criticizing any videographer because that's their package.
A behind the scenes.
And I also want to draw the line between the difference between video and photography. I know, because I've seen enough party pictures, stills. There's only so many party pictures you can take.
True.
Every once in a while in the last hour of a party, I go, I wish the photographer had stayed. There's plenty of times where I go, I wish the video had stayed. Okay. Yeah. So let's draw the line between the two. Photography, if they want to leave with 90 minutes left, as soon as cake cutting is done, everything else. So anyway, those are my points about it. But I do want to make this bigger point. We often, as DJs, talk about why can't we get along with other wedding vendors? We talk about, let's bring in videographers to talk to us and photographers, and we're always on our best behavior in those moments and everything else. But this was kind of a look into how we really feel about other wedding professionals. Because, again, the adamant responses were no, never, F no, why are they leaving? One guy wrote, and again, Vincent Velasquez, who I respect tremendously, wrote, I want to ask them, where are they going?
Right.
You know where they're going? Home. They've been working for 10. Again, Joe, noon, this crew started. At noon on Friday, I was still at my office.
Right.
I came home, walked the dogs, had lunch, put my feet up for about a half hour, then showered and got on the road to go DJ this wedding. Meanwhile, they were already started with this couple.
Sure.
So who the F am I to say at 10 o'clock, where are you going?
Where are you going, dog? Right.
Going.
Yeah.
It's been a 10-hour day for them. So anyway, to me, the ultimate compliment came a day later when Jason Janai, who clearly had an opportunity to read my response, and it changes his which I was afraid you were going to do.
That's why it was hidden from me.
Okay. Go ahead. Wrote Jason Janai wrote, I said never, but honestly, if the person is leaving and needs something, I don't mind helping. It really depends. I think all pros should communicate the importance of staying the entire event because some of the craziest moments can happen at the end. I get that. Like last week, I worked at and the team left earlier than the end of the reception, and literally everyone in the room was on the dance floor and sung the last song. It was epic. Okay, I get that. But I like the fact that I think I got to Jason a little bit to and I'm just urging everyone on this who's listening to this to just reconsider it. And even if you don't completely overhaul, like you said, I'm not going to completely overhaul my programming. I'm not asking for that. But just tweak it. Like you said, shout never makes the I disagree with that. There's a lot of video companies who put live audio in.
Okay, I didn't know that.
A lot of
Maybe I hadn't watched
Don't you have people who want to tap into your audio?
Yeah.
Just for the speeches, that's so that they can get the music and everything else. If it was just for the speeches, they would unplug right after the speeches. So there are plenty of video, and a lot of videographers make a montage package as well as a raw footage. So I'm not saying completely overhaul. I'm not saying do your sparkler send off at 9 o'clock when it's really, I'm not saying any of that. But just respecting the other wedding professionals at your event, I think would go a long way towards helping our industry DJs come across much less cockier and much less adamant, like F no, I'm not changing my.
Listen, again, man. I mean, I think that there's no way that me, you, our companies would still be in business if we weren't communicative and
cooperative
and get along with people. And honestly, it's funny, Mike. 1 out of 3 venues I walk in, especially if I haven't been there a minute, they'll go, oh my God, thank God you're here. Let me tell you about this story that happened last weekend.
Exactly. We have that happen too, which, listen, you can take that as a compliment, but I also cringe when I hear those stories because it proves that there's still a lot of losers in this industry, in our industry.
Walk in, haven't set up a piece of gear yet, and they go, when's dinner? Which room?
Right.
So anyway, I think had the situation been approached to me differently, instead of the guy just said he's leaving at 10 and he needs me to unhook that cable, versus if he had come up and said, hey man, I'm leaving at 10, is there any way you can play a couple of things where they're dynamite, where people's hands in the air, or jump around, or a sing along like a Don't Stop Believing before I roll? Can you do that? 100% yes, I would have said that.
But my point in posting that is the videographer never even asked me, Joe.
Right.
My initial assumption is, oh, you're leaving early? Right. I'm gonna flip a couple things, not overhaul, but I'm gonna move a few things up to the 9 o'clock hour so you get them, so that ultimately the bride and groom get a better video, which P.S. helps me, but also helps this videographer.
I'm again, my brain wouldn't have worked like that, but now I'm not disagreeing now that I hear your actually well thought out and written, hidden from me Facebook posts. I'm more receptive to making that change.
Good. So I know you didn't think this would be a complete topic. It almost is, but let's go back to that one aside that I shouldn't have thrown in because it diverted the topic.
Remind me what it was again.
If your crowd chants one more song, and I'm not talking about one loser in the back of the room, one more, I've said to my assistant plenty of times, that's not enough. Okay.
Right.
But if I'm finishing the night with a packed dance floor, I normally upload another song. So and I'm good at back timing. Like if I'm supposed to end at 11, that last song is ending 10:59 and 50 seconds, 51. Boom, it's ending. Thank you, good night. Right at 11.
Same.
But I've got another one in the bank. If I get an overwhelming one more song, I'm just gonna do it. I know I have so many people that, and again,
song, right? It wouldn't be a slow jam.
Of course, a dance song. Right. Of course, jump around. Make it quick. Make it short. I've talked about this on air before. I have shortened edits of certain songs.
Right.
I have a minute and a half edit that I made of What I Like About You. That I will often use. It's 90 seconds.
Right.
I've got a 2-minute edit I've made of Jump Around. So a song that I haven't played yet during the night, a banger, a high energy song. I have people online saying, oh, I don't want to get thrown off the vendor list. And I'd have to ask the maitre d' at that. You have to ask the maitre d' about a 2-minute song. Really?
Right.
I've gone 10 minutes overtime sometimes and had banquet managers giving me the thumbs up going, these people are. So I think we're all, and again, to me, the hypocrisy is, well, why is that videographer leaving at 10 o'clock? Well, you won't even play one freaking song.
2 minutes,
you stay an hour and you won't play a 3-minute song. So that's my final point.
I'm with you on that, Mike. If it was an overwhelming, like a chant, one more song, I will say I probably wouldn't be nearly as prepared as you because already in my mind, I'm like half packed up. So I'd probably scramble and throw on something real quick. I should have it like already loaded in the second day.
Cue it. You have a packed dance floor. I'm telling you, cue that to get it. Because this way, and when I get one more song, I do this with the ear. I'm like, what?
What?
It only gets, and I go, and then off mic, I go, you're going to get me in trouble.
Right.
Boom. And I hit it and the place erupts.
Right.
And are there banquet halls in this area that would yell at me for that? Yes. But we're not on the recommended list there. Right. And what I usually do in that situation, I go, do you want to tell them?
Yeah.
I point at the crowd. Do you want to tell them?
Yeah.
And they go, okay, make this the only one.
Right.
So I'm sorry, but I don't buy the argument. I think, again, we're all being a little bit selfish with our time, especially when we're now going to tell a videographer to stay an hour later after his contracted time. That's all.
I'm in agreement with you on that.
Fired up this week.
Fired up. Here we go.
All right.
So, put a bow on it, sir. And
come to our workshop. You'll see us yell at each other more.
Yes. Yeah. Basically, it's the PHDJ workshop held in Las Vegas in a month and a half.
Yes. It's a day and a half.
Is a day and a half of me doing a seminar and Mike sitting in the back heckling, and vice versa. So
getting up and telling everybody why Joe is wrong about everything he just said. I will unblock those threads on Facebook. So
please. These are well written. Well, thank you guys for listening. As always, we appreciate you. Again, PHDJworkshop.com. And Mike, can I plug my new group?
Of course.
Yeah. So if you didn't check it out this week, www.thedjsvaultgroup.com. It's a closed Facebook group. We went from 0 to 400 members in less than 24 hours. So,
nice.
2 free PDFs there. One called Planning the Perfect Party that you can rebrand and give to your couples. And then the other one is how to get on the preferred vendors list. So check it out. Thanks, Mike.
Everybody have a great week.
All right, brother. Later.